After years of working with pain and inflammation, I created these blends to support the nervous system naturally. So my name is Amy Bradley Radford. I'm the developer of Align Essential Oils, and I am a board-certified massage therapist and also a licensed massage therapist. I am an NCB TMB approved provider. I can offer CE credits for a lot of different classes. I'm also the owner and developer of Pain Patterns and Solutions seminars. We know it as PPS seminars, where massage therapists learn about advanced pain management techniques. And that is where a lot of this aromatherapy started for me as a massage therapist. I've always been interested in aromatherapy, and I really dove into it in the very beginning of my practice. And I have been working since 1993. I started playing with oils in about 1995. And as I started working with specific types of pain, whether that was autoimmune or inflammation or lots of different things like anxiety or depression, as I started into the massage therapy field, I strategically went after pain management for myself, but that was also around me. There was a lot of issues within my own personal family, and people were always looking for ways to help themselves. And so as a pain management person and really diving into some hard issues with clients, I started to play around with aromatherapy oils. And I brought those on because I had decided that aromatherapy was a lot like vibrational medicine. And what I was looking for was a way to address the nervous system as I was working with pain management. And as a massage therapist, or even just somebody who works with the general public, you know that pain has a lot of different forms to it. It's not just physical. There's a mental, there's emotional, sometimes there's a spiritual component to it, but there can be an underlying source of pain that has nothing to do with muscles. And I wanted to find a way that I could gently address that undercurrent that was going on in the body. When I started playing around with aromatherapy, that specific approach targeted some of the things I was looking for. And so we were able to really calm the nervous system or decompress the nervous system. And I was able to get further with my work as a pain management specialist. After years of playing around with oils, I started to consistently grab specific oils for certain presentations, certain types of pain patterns, certain types of cue words that people mentioned to me, stressed or fatigued or tired but wired, those sorts of things. I started paying attention to what people said, and the oils that I used based on those terms seemed to work for a majority of the population. I started to make my own blends. I took my own oils and created blends in blank bottles and started using them on my clients. So I wasn't grabbing all these different oils and trying to blend during the session. I had a pre-blended mix that I would use for specific conditions. And as I started doing that, my clients started to request them more. They could tell the difference. They could tell that when I used my blends, that the treatment got further. Their body cooperated better. And when they went home after being treated, it seemed like the effects of that massage, because we were able to address more inside the body in the same period of time, the effects seemed to create a bigger response in them as well. And then they went on to start asking for these oils at home, which is how I got into producing my own line of oils. But the reason I have this class isn't so much to sell my oils, it's to teach you what I understand about aromatherapy and specific to these blends. We will be talking about 18 different oil profiles today, and I will give you the knowledge of what I understand about them. And everybody views aromatherapy just a little bit differently. And so this is my approach to aromatherapy. And I created some unique solutions to make the application process so much easier. I wanted you to be able to use them without having to do a ton of research to understand what they were. And so there's an application process that I developed that makes using these oils really easy. So these unique blends are broken down into two categories, and I like to break them apart so you understand as we learn about the oils and learn why I picked the oils to go in these blends, which is something I really want people to understand, is why. The why behind all of this is, how does aromatherapy actually work and how does it work in these blends? So these two categories that I broke them down into, there's a very physical side to pain management and there's a very emotional side to pain management. And as I started putting these blends together and they started kind of building into their own, I was able to see what it was I was treating more often. And and the specific types of depletion that wouldn't allow me to do my work the way that I wanted to. So on the physical side of this, there was kind of an immune system and a lack of energy across the board that fell into a couple different categories. One of those categories was inflammation and autoimmune, which go hand in hand. And when you're working with somebody with autoimmune issues, it takes a lot more energy to fight that autoimmune, and it takes a lot of energy to get to a stabilizing point inside autoimmune issues. And so when they're on your table as a massage therapist, we had to shut down some of that inflammatory reaction so we could actually do some work so the body could get to a better place to heal. So one of the oils addressed pain specifically, joint pain, trigger points, muscular pain, and that was the inflammation and autoimmune blend because it was the inflammation we were targeting. The next oil blend that I put together was for adrenal fatigue. If you look at the demographic many times of the people that seek out pain management and massage therapy, there's this whole group of tired people. These people that are dealing with chronic headaches, these people that are overworked, these people that have had a lot of trauma and drama in their life, and there's just too much of a heavy load they're carrying all the time and they're tired. And when your body gets to a point where it's too tired, your adrenals actually kind of click on at this low level, irritating, grating static in the background where it doesn't really go up because there's not enough to, but you can't not have adrenaline in your body. So your body kind of sticks at this really low level. I call it dripping adrenaline into the system, but it never stops. There's never any ebb and flow to it. And so these people would get on my table and they were so tired, but they couldn't sleep and they couldn't rest and their bodies wouldn't shut down. And so for me to be able to have any success with them, I had to get their system to calm and decompress. And that's where this adrenal fatigue formula came in. And I had to work with this one a little bit. It took me a little bit to find the oil that truly made the difference. It's a different one and it's a fun one to learn about. The adrenal fatigue formula is amazing for people that are stuck in this tired and wired sort of place and their body can't actually let go for you to create change in the muscles. The next blend that I put together was for fibromyalgia. There's a lot of sufferers of fibromyalgia that come to the massage table and they are fearful because in fibromyalgia, the nervous system flips. And we're going to talk about this a little bit. And what was once perceived as pain is now just pressure. But pressure, which is what I apply as a therapist, is felt as pain. And so it's a nervous system flip-flop. And so the fibromyalgia blend calms that nervous system. So I have access into those tissues and they're not so reactive. And it can create changes in a very positive way for this type of body. Now, the next side of these essential oils goes into the mental and emotional support. And pain and depression and anxiety go hand in hand, and they're drivers of each other. So if you have a lot of depression and anxiety, the up and down of your nervous system, trying to find balance all the time, really starts to create a lot of pain inside the body. And the more pain you have, the more depression or anxiety you have because you're in pain and you can't find relief. It is a self-perpetuating cycle. And so I realized that for some people, they needed this ability to find a grounding, a state of neutral where they were neither flying high with anxiety or in this low phase of depression, because those two phases of the nervous system also don't allow you to change things inside the muscles. And in fact, they can fight you when you're trying to create change because they're gearing up to the right vibration that the nervous system should have. And so it gets really difficult to create real lasting change for these people. And for some people who would come in, I created a oil that did both. It brought you down, but brought you up at the same time, which is how the nervous system has to be addressed. And that was what I called stability. It was a very stable place for people to be in. But occasionally you would get people that had a little more anxiety or a little more depression. And I created some add-on blends or some blends to use just on their own, but it enhanced the ability of stability to create that grounding effect that we were looking for, that place of neutral and calm. And so that's what these other two blends were. It was just a little bit of a more push for depression or a little bit more of a push for anxiety. And there is a seventh oil that I have brought into this particular line, and it's actually acute inflammation. So it sits in this physical category of somebody who has been injured and they are dealing with recovery. And this actually helps address that particular kind of pain, which is this acute phase healing process that people have a lot of pain in, and that is our acute inflammation blend.